Greetings and happy Independence Day. If you're watching this in future land, as Dion McNeely likes to put it, um, you can still celebrate Independence Day. That's right. Every single day, you can celebrate Independence Day when we left Great Britain, or at least on the 4th of July, I think was when the Continental Congress signed the Declaration of Independence. I believe it was 4th of July. I think it was I think some of the first Independence Days were actually maybe on the 2nd of July when founding fathers wanted, that was their thought was having on the 2nd of July. But anyway, we celebrate on the 4th of July. Independence Day, though, can be celebrated every single day just by being thankful for your freedoms. So, this video today is going to be about. I've been hearing some folks struggling with finding out what the rent should be in their area or for certain properties so that they can either one rent them or two run the numbers with that particular rent. So I'm going to show you a few different ways that I check on this. Now the first way and the easiest way is if you're a Bigger Pockets Pro member, you can use this site right here. I think folks think this is not very accurate, and I can't remember for sure, but I feel like it might pull from Rent-A-Meter website. But I have found that it's actually pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. And I've seen it a little off. Uh, in the going less and going more. I've seen it go both ways. Um, but I did do some comparisons where I actually go on Realtor.com. You can use whatever website you feel more comfortable with, and look up properties that are going for rent for however price, whatever price, and this usually ends up being pretty close. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I have a list here of properties, and this is in Memphis in 38111. And I'm going to check each one of these just to kind of get an idea. And then I also have this other list that basically chooses the subject property and then the rent comparables. Now, this is all information that came directly from the listing. So we're seeing this is the actual rent they're trying to get. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the rent they got, but this is what they're renting those for. And I have a bunch for almost all the zip codes, or a few, at least a few, right? So let's just go with the first one, right? So you have 944 Semmes Street, if I'm saying that correctly. If you go to the Bigger Pockets, 944 Semmes Street, search address, pops it up, right? 895. So this one might be off because that's a little bit lower than I remember, but yeah, so you could see here. Okay, we got to fix this though. I just see what the issue is. So sometimes this here does not pop up with the correct beds and baths. So this is actually a 3-bed, 2-bath. Adjust, and now we're looking a little bit better. 1175. And they'll give you some of the comparables that they're looking at too. So they actually have 944 Sem Street 1225, but they're saying it's about $50 less, and I think that's okay. I think that's okay to go a little bit lower. So you'll see 1225 is what they wanted to rent it for, and if you go back to Realtor or whichever website you're using, and you search on that particular property, let's see if this one, that's right, this one's off market. This one ended up being, if you go down to the property history, this one was being sold and it was up for rent. So I think it was kind of like a crapshoot. Hey, which one are we going to get done first? Are we going to sell it first or are we going to rent it first? So they had it at 1195 and then changed it to 1225, but ended up selling it. So not a ton of information there. Like we didn't see like it being rented for the actual price. Now, another way you can maybe estimate if like you don't have access to the bigger pockets, like you can't put a bunch of them in. And one of the things that I use is the fair market rents. So if you go to, I usually just search HUD fair market rents, go to that website, the first one there, and then scroll down, click here for FY 2024, and then you have to know the state and county. So Tennessee, and it's in Shelby County for me. And then there you go. You got the one bedroom, two bedroom, three bedroom, four bedroom. And one of the things that I found out somewhat recently is that you can actually go higher than this too. You just need to kind of call. You need to call your county. Um, oh man, is it HUD? I can't remember. I lost it. I've actually contacted them before, but I can't remember what their it might be different in each county too. So, but you can actually go up to five bedroom, six bedroom. They'll give you prices for those. So if you have a much larger house, you can see what that would be. I don't think they have any type of calculation on here. At least I don't remember seeing one. So you might just have to contact them. But I guess you could do a quick calculation. You could kind of see the difference between these. And but the thing is there might be more demand for like a four bedroom than there is for a five bedroom. So the bump from four bedroom to five bedroom might not be as high as the bump from like two bedroom to three bedroom. Or same thing, you could see three bedroom. Let's see, went up about 400 or so, or more than 400, and then it only goes up 200 and what is that, 80 or something, 80 something. Um, so there's not as much of a demand from three to four as there was from two to three, and then same thing from one. There's only a small gap in between those two. So, but yeah, just call your county Section 8 folks. It's probably an easy way to search for that, and you can you can find out what they would give for a larger home, or what the fair market would be for the area. Okay, so that's kind of like the easier way of doing things, right? Is right here on Bigger Pockets. I guess if this pulls from Rent-A-Meter, then and I feel like it says it somewhere. Then maybe you could just go to Rent-A-Meter website. Here we will adjust the details, and then let me see. I thought I saw somewhere where it actually says that it pulls from Rent-A-Meter. Okay, well, I'm not seeing anything. What if I do this? Okay, that doesn't do much. At least doesn't give me any extra information about where it's pulling this from. Okay, I'm not going to spend any more time on that because it's not super important where they're pulling it from, but I think they are most likely pulling it from there or pulling it from the same type of places, right? Okay, so another way to do it, if you don't have any of that stuff, if the fair market rent of the area is like way too high or something, because I have seen that where, you know, you say, oh, a three bedroom. Well, when I go to my list of three bedrooms in Shelby County, all these ones right here, these are all three bedroom, okay? And you can see the rent. Now you got one that's higher, but I kind of feel like that's an anomaly. Whoa, couldn't talk for a second. And then, but this is also an A plus house. It was really nice looking. Okay, so but all these other ones way lower, right? We're talking like 500, $300, or $400 to $500 less than the fair market rent. We come down, we see another three, same thing, right? Like this is the only one that's actually even kind of close, and it's an A plus and it has 3 beds, 1.5 bath, so it's a little bit more than these other ones. And you can continue on. You can look at the 2 bedroom, and then if we go back to the fair market, 2 bedroom is 1298, and you're seeing nothing that high. Okay, so if you're in that situation where you see this and it's just not matching up right, well, you're gonna have to do a little bit of digging. So you can estimate, I think, by this, and then you can do, you can lower it by 10% or lower it by 5%, whatever you kind of feel like might help you with your numbers when you're running your numbers. And then when you run your numbers with that particular estimated monthly rent here, and then you end up getting the yield, from the cash flow and all that stuff, and then once you filter with the yield and you look at some of these and you're like, you know what, okay, I'm interested in these, like, 6 or 7 or however many that is, then you can dig a little deeper, right? So, and that's what I did in this particular spreadsheet. So I dug a little deeper. This takes a little bit more time. Okay, so what you have to do is you have your subjected property here, 765 Moon Street, right? All the information about it, bed, bath, what's the grade of the property, what does it look like, what's the crime like in that area, and then you go to Realtor. So this is in 38111. You go to Realtor or whatever site you prefer. 38111. Make sure you have rent selected, and then you can go through here and kind of get an idea. So now you'll want to find out where 765 Moon Street is, which is the subject property. And this is why it takes a little bit longer, because there's just a little bit more digging. So you'll see Memphis here. It's kind of like in this area here, a little bit to the west, southwest of University of Memphis. So kind of maybe over in this area. And you can drill down a lot more, right? You don't have to. There's a lot of rentals here. So we're going to make this a little smaller. And then you can really drill it down to, hey, I want to see actual 3 bedrooms, nothing different. So now we're gone down to 25. Actually, let's hit this search button again, because then it'll put it within the border. Okay, so right about there. There's Sims, there's Spotswood. I kind of look for the bigger streets to kind of get a better idea. So there's Spotswood, there's Sims. So it's actually in this area right here. Now, if we want to drill it down even more, 19. If we want to put this at 2 and 2, that way we're just taking the ones out. I don't know why it went up to that. Probably because it's hitting all the ones that are around here. Either way, let's hit that again. There we go. So now you have these that are pretty much in the same area. You could sort by low price and kind of just go through them. So that's really what it is. You're just going through them. You're going to open this one up. You're going to take a look at it. You're going to find out how big it is, what the address is, obviously, and maybe the neighborhood. You're gonna take a look at, like, what the schools are, give it a school grade, and things like that. And then as you go through, whatever you want to put on for grades. What I have on this one is I have, like, the property grade, I have the square footage, just to get an idea. Let's go up to this one. The square footage, the bedrooms, bath, the school grade of the elementary school, the crime grade, and then what it's going for rent for. So if you take, you know, four of those, five of those, and it could be three, I suppose. It just depends on how much is in that area. But probably four or five is a good number. Maybe six. It just depends on how much time you want to really take into this, or how accurate maybe you want to get to. But once you get to that point where you have found all of this information, you then take a look at your subject information and say, okay, it's an A, right? So it's probably going to be up here, but since this one looks like it's a little maybe overinflated, you can just say, well, I know it's better than all these. Okay, even though there's maybe one that's bigger right here, 1481, Vice the 1300, but they're all in the same crime grade. This one has a 4. Some of these have 3s and 4s. So you'd probably look at this C plus one and say, okay, that one's 1380. So what do I think I can get for it? I think I could probably get for this. And then you can also kind of go back to the fair market and say, what does a 3 bedroom get? 1711. So 1500 might not be a bad estimation. And you would do that for all of the properties that you are interested in. I did a lot more just to kind of get the reps in. So you can see I have plenty in each one of these zip codes that I've gone through just to get an idea of what it looks like in that area. But now, as I come across properties that have a higher yield or good cash flow and I'm really interested in them, I can do this particular exercise and really kind of drill down to to a better estimate of rent, and then adjust my prices that way and see if the yield is still makes sense, the cash flow still makes sense. All right, so that's pretty much it. I think I covered just about everything. Probably didn't go. There's might be some steps that I skipped over. If there's something that's unclear, just put a comment and I'll clear that up with a comment. And hope you have again a great Independence Day. And if you're in the future, hope you have a great day. All right, take care.